Okay, very good morning, everyone. Thank you. Wherever you are from, if you are already in the afternoon, good afternoon to you. In my side, in Malaysia, I'm still in the morning. Now, for those of you who have seen me for the very first time, okay, my name is Kelvin. I hope you can see my screen. My name is Kelvin, and this is my contact number followed by my email address, where I actually share a lot of videos as well in YouTube and in Facebook. You can follow me. I'll let you have the link in a while. But in today's class, July 15 is a Saturday. I'm very impressed with all of you that you actually take time off from your weekends to learn from me, Kelvin, right? So thank you so much. Now, what are we going to talk about today? And hopefully we'll try to keep within the time frame or maybe slightly later. We'll see, depending on you guys. If you guys ask a lot of questions in the chat, I'll try to answer most of the question that is given. So we're going to talk about some Excel, not really secrets, but I'm going to share with you some of those things that we normally use Excel in. So the first one is going to be something called the database management. So then we go into data manipulation. Both are actually data management. So if we have very messy data or we have data that is not in a proper way, then how do we put it together? Here, we'll concentrate on getting our work done as fast as we can within the time that is given. We don't want to spend too much time drilling into the data. So we're going to do some sorting, filtering, and I'm going to go into some advanced filter as well, if the time permit. Then we're going to go into flash fill, remove all the duplicates and text to column. I'm going to give you some example from there. Then we go into the advanced functions such as VLookup. How do we search using image and search using some keywords? So we're going to do that, and followed by some charts. So here I'm going to talk about the important thing when you prepare your charts, and lastly, the conditional formatting. All right, so this is what we planned for in this 2 hours. Looks a little bit ambitious, but we'll try. We'll try to keep within 2 hours, or else I have the permission from organizer saying that I can extend it. So I hope you don't mind. If you're planning immediately after 2 hours to go off, you better tell the organizer. Otherwise, please extend your stay here a little while more so that we can cover all the topics that is mentioned here. You guys can hear me? I saw someone says no audio. Is it true you cannot hear me? Can hear. All right, just check. Otherwise, I'll be talking to myself and none of you can hear what I'm saying. All right, so I think I have given the file to the host so that they will be sending you the file in the chat. Now, if you want to follow along, you can create yourself as well, or you can open up any of your other files. So the first file that I'm going to work on is the database management. There are 5 different files altogether. I'm going to open up the first one here. Let's see if I can drop the file. No, I can't drop the file. All right, so never mind. So when I open up this file, it's a set of database where I have around 600 over records. That's it. It's not huge. It's only 600 over records. So it's not that big. You can't see my screen, but I'm already sharing. Okay, let's check if everybody can see the screen. So I leave it to the host to handle that part. So I will just carry on with my session here. Now, what I'm having in this here, in this topic here, is we want to talk about sorting. Now, I believe each and every one of us who are using Excel will roughly know what we can do with the sorting. That means sorting, we can actually arrange the data. However, Microsoft calls it sort, S-O-R-T, sort. Now, I'm going to show you how you can use the sort feature in your Microsoft Excel. Now, usually this is what we do. We will click in that column, right? We just can right click and we can tell them to sort according to ascending order. We can do that. We can just arrange, or you can go into the data ribbon and you have the A to Z, Z to A button up here. which it's available for you to just click. Now, do you notice something? I did not select the entire database. I mean, most of us will do this, oh, highlight this, or they'll say highlight the whole column. No, don't do that. If your data is already a compact database, which means each column is adjacent to each other, they are just next to each other. There's no empty columns or whatsoever in your data, then you don't really need to select. Now, you only need to select when you have something like this. There's an empty column in between. If I go to the manager, I do the sort. This is where the danger is. They only sort whatever that's on the right. So the whatever on the right, on the left, they don't do that. Now, fortunately, we can undo. So when I undo, you notice I do not really need to select. Let's just say I go to the manager again. I click the A to Z. There you go. They arrange it for me. I go to the sales, Z to A. I'll see the highest on top, the lowest below. There's no selection is required. Only if you have a lot of empty columns that you need to move together, that's where you need to highlight them and do it together. After you have highlighted them, you cannot click the A to Z, Z to A. What you do is you have to go to the sort button here to do the sorting. And you can choose how do you want it to be sorted. All right. Now, I guess this is something very common for most of us. So I'm going to do this. Okay, I want to do a sorting. Now, if I look through this, I click A to Z for the customer name. These are all the names of my customer. And this is in alphabetical order. Right. So not every day is Sunday. Now, why am I saying that? Not all the time when we perform the sorting, it has to be alphabetical order. So let's take a look at this column here that says manager. Okay, let me just zoom in slowly. Okay, here. Now, what if I say, I would like to arrange this in my own custom order, which means I want the William to be number one. Okay, let me just zoom in. Okay, let me just zoom in. Now, if I'm planning to do this, I want to put William as my first item, right? Then followed by Erin, followed by Sam, and last by Chris. So if I want to arrange my data based on the priority order, the priority William, Erin, Sam, then Chris. So in this case, it's not in any priority, not in any of the ascending or descending order. So how can I do this? So it's very simple. We just click anywhere in your data, go to the big sort button here, or you can right click, go to the sort and do a custom sort. Whichever way, you still end up in this screen. You still end up in this screen. So what happened now is I want to arrange according to the manager. So I go to the manager. Now, I'm not interested in the alphabetical order of A to Z or Z to A. So I'm going to this thing called custom list. So in my custom list, I have no new list here. However, I have all those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or January or February. These are all lists given by Microsoft. So now I'm going to create my own new list. I just click inside my new list. Remember, William, then Erin, then Sam, then Chris. These are the four managers that I mentioned earlier. Okay, if you look into all the names here, so we have Erin, we have Chris, we have William, we have, okay, we don't see Sam here, but these are the people. I think I typed the name wrongly. William should be W-I-L-L. So we just remove that. W-I-L-L-I-A-N. Let's check again. So William, yeah, this is correct. Okay. So now with this list in place, all I need to do is just click add. There you go, it goes in. All right, then I hit OK. So now they are saying that you're going to sort the manager, sort on the cell value in the order of William, Erin, Sam, and Chris. Now, make sure the spelling that you have in this order is the same spelling that you have in the column. So when I hit OK, you see William come first. After William, you will see Erin. After Erin, you will see Sam, and after Sam, you will see the last item called Chris. So which means you can actually design your own priority order rather than follow the alphabetical order. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can do. Now, then you will ask yourself, Okay, let me repeat how I do that again. I come here, I'll just go into the custom list, then I'll just click the type in the list, then I'll hit add. That's all I need to do, and the list will be there. Okay, the list will be in the information here. Are we okay so far? Good. Now we need to know what is the purpose of doing all this. What's the purpose of arranging the data? So a lot of us will say, oh, because it's easy to find our data, we can actually arrange them in alpha so that we can access to the data easily. We can search it and so on. Yeah, basically that's it. But what I want to do now is I would like to have a subtotal for each of the category that I have. But when I say category, I'm not referring to this or each of the sorting that I perform. So I'm going to do 3 layers of sorting. 3 layers of sorting. I'll go by segment, maybe not the category. I'll go by the manager, then followed by the what do you call that? Sales. So I have this category column here, which is not in sequence. All of a sudden, I have a category sequence here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange this column. So I selected the whole column by clicking, I go to the first item here, Control Shift down arrow. I selected the whole column. All right. I just press Control Backspace. It will go all the way to the top again. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to transfer this category before segment. Now, I deliberately put this here anyway. So I want to put this. So I put my mouse over the green color border. When it turns into a 4-direction arrow, I will click it and drag it across. But if I let go now, they'll give me an error saying that, are you going to replace it? No, my intention is to swap places with segment. So before I let go, see, I'm still holding it. I'm still holding on to my mouse. Before I let go my mouse, I will just hold down my shift key. You'll notice that it is actually in between customer and segment now. So when I let go my mouse, not together, I let go my mouse. Now I'm swapping the position with the column. So you notice we can also arrange the column. But this is done manually. This is done manually. So if you tell me, no, I want to swap my column here. Okay, I want to swap my column here using that sorting. Using the sorting. So I can go to the sorting. Now, this is what you're going to do. Up here, there's a button called option. Let's take a look. What is the meaning of this option? Let's click on it. Now, there's something called left to right, not top to bottom. So left to right. When I hit OK now, right, you can tell them, oh, I want to go by the row number 5, and I want to go by A to Z. So now you notice they are not arranged according to alphabetical order. So all these two columns, customer and category, they will go to the front. Category will be in front because CA. So let's see what happened. Category, customer name, then followed by date, followed by they are arranging the column in alphabetical order. Now that's not what I want. I'm just showing you that you can do that. Now most of us never bothered about arranging the column. So the first one I show you was to arrange it manually. The other one is by alphabetical order. So if you have a specific order that you want to arrange your column, you can go to the custom, right? Then you tell them that I'm going to go from left to right. Then based on column 5, row number 5, and you can go into the custom list. You type in the order of your column, and they follow the order of the column. So these are something that a lot of people didn't explore when they perform the sorting, right? So something that you may want to do. And in my situation here, I just need to move one column, so I just do it manually. I do not want to go through the trouble of writing all this out, so I just move them, right? So how I do it just now was this. I move this using my mouse. I go to the border, the green color border. When the pointer turns into a 4-direction arrow, I just move this, hold down my shift key. I can put it between segment and manager again. So if I want to put it back there, hold down the shift, you are moving it. So there's no copy or pasting involved here. Now, a lot of us will copy, and then when we paste the insert the paste copied cell. We don't do that. We don't do that. We just do it quickly, right? Now, I want to prepare a subtotal for these three columns: segment, manager, followed by sales. So therefore, I need to arrange my data accordingly first. So I will do this. I'll go into this. First, I will go by segment. Now, I'm going to go according to this order, segment. So segment, I want to do it A to Z. I'll add a level. Then I'll tell them manager. Manager, also in alphabetical order. Then add another level. I'll go to the sales. Then this one, I want to show the largest to the smallest. Right, so when I hit OK, you see consumer crease, the highest, all the way down when you see the lowest, that's the end of crease for consumer and the larger one. And this process goes on until every single one of them in consumer is arranged. Once you reach the last manager from consumer, they will start corporate again, then crease and so on. So that's how the sorting works. So what is the purpose for doing this? It's because we want a very quick summary. Now let's take a look. I go to my data ribbon, somewhere right at the end. So remember, I tell you, data ribbon, all the way to the end, there is something here that says subtotal. Subtotal. So with the subtotal now, remember, we have arranged level 1, level 2, level 3, and I put them side by side like this for my own purpose, for my own easy viewing. So when you perform the subtotal, you must start with level 1, which is segment. So I say at each change in, now I go to the drop down, I will choose segment. Then I say use the function sum, add the subtotal to the sales. So everything seems okay except the first one I need to change to segment. Then when I hit OK, it's done. Now, what is done? Nothing seems to be happening. Now, if you look carefully, on your left-hand side here, there is the auto grouping given to you. So you have the 1, 2, and 3 on your left. Just right before your row number, you have the 1, 2, and 3. So if I click number 2 now, all this 1, 2, and 3 is actually the button. So you can click on number 2. Now you have a summary for each of the sections. Okay, so it looks like many of you are having trouble with the screen. So I hope you can quit and come back again. Now, don't worry, it's the session is being recorded. You can always view this again when you rejoin. So if you rejoin and you can see, then good. Whatever you missed on the first part, you just watch the video. Right. Now, I have done my first round of subtotal. Basically, Microsoft Excel now have written the formula for you, not you. You didn't write the formula. If you click in the column H, this cell here, H149, if you look at the formula bar, they are using the function called subtotal. That's because I'm using the function, the feature here, subtotal. So the function that we are using now is called the subtotal function. Each and every one of them, there is a formula. So if you plan to look into one of them, for example, small business, you want to look at small business, 137,000. So you want to take a look. So you can click the plus symbol right at the end here. Small business is the third one. So you click here. Ta-da. You'll see all the details that is only for small business. The rest of the category segment, is not expanded. You can click number 2 again to close it. That's how you manage your database from then on. Sort your data first, get a summary so that you can counter check with the report that you have whether are you having the same number. Right? Now, I am doing 3 levels of sorting for a reason. So now I'm going to perform the breakdown for each of this segment here. I have consumer total. I would like to break it down by manager. So this time I'm going to perform. Now, make sure you don't click outside. Don't click outside. Click anywhere inside the data. If you click outside where there is empty, if you click the subtotal, you notice that you're going to have an error. So no, don't do that. So you click anywhere inside, you click the subtotal again. So this time, you will tell them add each change in manager. Right, so click this, go to manager. Right, so click this drop down arrow and then pick up the manager. You tell them this second round of subtotal, we're going to use the manager. Okay, so manager, use the function sum, add the total to the sales. Now, do not click OK yet, simply because, right, if you look at this now, we already have a subtotal here. So here it says that, do you want to replace the one that is current? The answer is no, no, no. We want to break down further. So make sure this is unchecked. This is unchecked. Now, when you uncheck, you will preserve the subtotal for segment. Right? So when I hit OK, you'll notice they break down further into manager. So now you can see the performance of each manager in their segment. Isn't that cool? Yep, you can do that. Right? Give me a like if you like what you see so far. Give me a like. Oh no, nobody likes it. I see Rubia put up your hand. Good, put up the hand. Now you can type your question in the, are they allowed to unmute? Even? You put up your hand or you put up the, I don't know what you guys are doing. Yeah, I was asking for this. Yeah, thank you. Finally, I see some thumbs up. Right, so this is just the start. This is just the start. Now, if I don't want this subtotal anymore, I can go back to the subtotal. With just one click, I can destroy the whole subtotal, which is this. Remove all. Now, I might have what do you call this? Arranged my data wrongly and so on. So in order to remove it, I just have to click this remove all. Everything goes back to normal. Okay, everything goes back to normal, and there you go. It's done. So these are some of the things you can use to manage your database. Right, so that's the number one. Now, number two, we're going into the filter. Okay, now ignore the first part up here first. I will talk about this shortly. Now, we are talking about filtering. So when we talk about a filter, we need to turn on the filter from here. If you put your mouse over this button, there is a keyboard shortcut. It says there Control-Shift-L. L for filter, Control-Shift-L. So if your keyboard shortcut in your computer works, then you just press Control-Shift with the L. You notice your filter will be turned on. Right? Turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on, Control-Shift-L. Now, my keyboard shortcut Control-Shift-L doesn't work because I assign it for something else. So I won't be able to use it to turn on the filter. So I need to manually come to the button here to turn it on and off. Right? So after you have done that, so let me tell you what you already know. Now, many of you here will do this. You will go to the segment and you say, okay, let's look at only consumer. So you turn off, you will turn off the select all and you only choose consumer. So what happened after that is, let me do that again. Turn off, then you put consumer. Sorry, turn off everything. Then you turn only consumer. And you hit OK. Now you are looking at only consumer. And then you move on to do another level. You can go to the category, maybe the manager. You go for the crease, and you say OK. Then you go for the category. You say, OK, let's look at technology only. And you hit OK. There you go. Out of that 600 over records that we have, now we are only left with 10 records. So if I highlight all this, let's read how many do we have down here. We have only 10 records. You see that count is 10. So there's only 10 records. So that's because you filter multi-layer of information. So I'm going to click the clear button. This clear button will remove all the filter that I have been using. There you go. Goes back to normal. All right. Now, I would like to introduce something that it's not so commonly used by everyone. So I'm going to give you an example. Now, someone walk up to me and say, "Hey, Kelvin, can you look for all those customers' name?" Right now, in this column called customer, there are names where you have first name and last name. I know. I'm just going to give you an example here. So there may be a lot of different names, different kind of names, right? So in this example, we have the first name and the last name. So he says, okay, the first name of this customer is starting with alphabet M. And the first name only have 4 characters. Starting with alphabet M, and they only have 4 characters. The last name, I'm not sure. What is that? So it can be any last name, right? So I want to filter the data so that I can find the record that this particular person wants. So what I'll do is, instead of going through the list here and read one by one alphabet M, I will go to the text filter and I say begins with, then I'll choose M. Now, if I choose just M alone, I will look for all those names that start with M, but they are not only those with 4 characters. So Maria is not, Mohammed is even more, Maribel, no. So this is one of them that we are looking for. Those with 4 characters, 4 characters. Okay, so Maya is another one, and many more down there. So we are looking for all those starting with M, and it has a 4 alphabet. So how do we do that? So we go back to the same place. So the clue is written here clearly to all of us. It's just that we don't really bother to read this. They are there for a reason, otherwise they won't be there. Now, it says that use the question mark to represent any single character. That means a single one character. So since I'm going to use 4 characters, so it should be M. Okay, then I should type here alphabet M because it's starting with M. Then I need 3 more characters to make it 4. So I put there question mark, question mark, question mark. So in this case, M, because the first name has 4 characters, I M with 3 question mark. Then I'm going to put a space bar because the first name and the last name is separated by the space. Then I said that I'm not sure what is the last name. So therefore, I will use the asterisk. Now, what is this asterisk? Asterisk is already mentioned down here. It says that asterisk represent any series of characters. So we have no specific number. It can be any number of characters. See, they are here for a reason and we didn't really look at it. So let's write it down here. M, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, space, and then I'll put an asterisk. So by doing that, when I hit OK, you see all those names that start with alphabet N and they have 4 characters. How convenient, right? When you set. So now that you have this, then you can go further by telling, oh, this is the one. Okay. Now, another way you can do this is without actually going into the filter. I'm going to let me clear this one first. You can go into this filter here, search, you put there M, question mark, question mark, question mark, space, asterisk. Now, by doing that, you already have the list in here. And you can further untick those that is not relevant. You can straight away untick. And when you hit OK, you can narrow down your list a little bit shorter. If you write the same filter code in that particular search. So I'm going to do that. Let's say that again. So I'm going to put there M, question mark, question mark, question mark, space, asterisk. So I will just hit OK. You see, it's the same result that I can get by just having to change it to the search. I just have to type inside the search. Okay, so I hope you have an idea how the search actually works, right? The filter will actually work for you. Right. Okay, the question mark and so on. Yeah. Now, remember when we perform the sort, we can see the subtotal. We can do the same when we are using filter. So I'm going to introduce a common thing that you always do. Now, let me show you. I have already named the column. That means each of this column has a name. So if I click sales, it will highlight the sales for me. So I'm not going to go and do my highlighting myself. So I'm just going to do this. equals to sum. Oh, how come this is red in color? Never mind. We put there sales. So sum the sales. All right. So let me just reduce the size. Okay, let's take a look. Red color is good. Let's take a look. Red color is good. So 597,478.55. There you go. This is the total sum. Now let's take a look what happened now. If I go to the segment and I say, okay, let's not look at all the segment. Let's look at consumer only. When I hit OK, looks like this function called sum doesn't listen to what we have filtered. They don't care what we have filtered. So what I want to do now is, okay, let me just clear the filter. In order for you to have the total sales that listens to what you have filtered, you have to use the function called subtotal. Earlier in our sorting, the subtotal are automated for you, but when you use the filter, you have to write it yourself. Now, let's take a look. When I start initiating the function called subtotal, in subtotal function, you can have many different functions that you use, just like an aggregate function. Now, in here, we are going to call the sum. So it's going to be number 9. Number 9. Okay, so if I go down to this sum and I press tab, you see number 9 appear. So I'm going to comma. And what is my reference? My reference is the column called sales. Do you notice it's the same answer? It's the same answer. So let's try out. If I go to the segment, again, I choose only consumer. Let's see what happened now. The number has changed, but not the top one. The top one is just the grand total. It's like so majestic up there. It doesn't want to listen to anything else. But the one that you have in total sales, the one that you use aggregate, they change it. Now, let me put the formula at the side. You can write, you can write the formula called formula text of this cell. There you go. This is the formula that I've written in this particular cell. So for this one is formula text of this cell. Looks like I have to reduce the size again. That's the function. Okay. Now, if you're asking me how do I name the column, is I just highlight the entire column, starting from the first value to the very last value, and I just go to the name box. I'll just type the name sales. That's all, right? So instead of me remembering this is page don't know what to whatever, I am just going to do something called sales. I'm going to call it as sales. So let me remove the filter. Now there's no more filter, it will look the same. So in order for me to know what is the average sales, what is the highest sales recorded, the lowest sales recorded, and the number of transactions in here, I will just copy the formula down. Okay, I'll just copy the formula down. Now, then I will go in this, I'll remove the number 9. This time around, for the second formula, I want average. So tell me, what should I use? I use 1. Enter. Then what is the highest recorded sales recorded? So in order to find the highest, we use max, which is number 4. Enter. Okay, then we go to this one. The lowest, if max is the lowest, min will be the lowest. Max is the highest, min will be the lowest. So for me to count the number of transactions, now since all the value in the column called sales is number, so then I will just use the number. Okay, where is the list? The list is not there. Let's see if I can call out the list. Yes, I can. Now it's going to be number 2 or number 3. You can use either one because all are numbers. I can just going to use number 2. Right? So okay, there you go. So all the functions that you see is differentiated by just the number. 1 is average, 2 is count, 3 is count all. Then you have 4, which is the highest max, then min, and number 9 is actually the sum. They have other functions like product, variant, and so on. You can use all that. Okay, now let's take a look at the magic. If I go to the manager and I say, okay, let's take a look at the sales by SAM. So when I choose SAM, all these are SAM and these are their statistics. Okay, these are the statistics. The sales performance by that particular manager called Sen. So whenever I filter my data, I can have a quick statistics of how are they performing. So you must think of why are you doing all this sorting and filtering? There must be a reason for you to do that, right? It's not just to make them look good, right? You want to make sure that there is an outcome from the action that you have taken, like sorting and filtering. So I hope you like this small little topic on filter database management. Okay. Now I can save this file. I will ask Suraj to actually send the file to you if you want to. You can open it. Otherwise, you can just delete from your email, right? So yeah, I'm going to save this file. File, save as. I want to put the word done at the back. So I'll just put the word D-O-N-E at the back. So that to differentiate the original from the previous, right? All right, so this is my first topic for all of you. All right, so all good? Give me some response. Wow, some of you even take this out, right? What happened with the 101 and the 10? Okay, good question there. Huh? Good question there. Now, we are talking about filter. Okay, listening up, listen in. We are talking about a filter. Now, assuming we are not using the filter. Nope, we are not using the filter. So what happened now is if I highlight some of this data, right, and I right click, what I do is hide. Okay, so let me just right click here and then hide. So if you look at the number, it's now without filter is 597,478.55. So what happened when I hide it? They don't change. Okay, so I use the one series. That's because I'm using filter. But if I am going to do something called hide, then in this formula, okay, let me just copy this whole thing. I'll put it at the side. Yeah? Since you asked, I will put it here. So instead of 9, instead of using 9, I will be using something called 109. 109. Instead of using 1, I will put there 101. 101. Then instead of 4, I will use 104. What did I do? 10444. 104. And this is 105. And the last one here is 102. Okay, let's take a look at the difference between these two. If I highlight some of this data, no, we like to hide data, right? So I highlight a whole bunch of it. Now you look at the information here, right click, and then I hide it. Now I didn't delete that, I hide. You notice they change. So the one that is 100 series is meant for hidden row. If you hide, don't calculate those hidden ones. Only calculate whatever that is visible. I hope I answer your question there. Good question. Very, very interesting question that you asked. Where to find all this, you have to ask the host. I have no idea how they are sending it to your event. Anyway, you can always follow up later. Don't worry. Just pay attention to the session first. If you don't have the file, it's fine. Right? You are an Excel user, so it's with or without the file, right? You can still learn from here. And when you have the video, you have the file, you can try it again. So don't worry. Just chill, and learn from the session that I'm having here. So basically, a lot of people like to hide their data because it's no longer in use. They hide. So all those hidden row, you do not want it to be included in your calculation. That's when you use the subtotal, the 100 series function. The 100 series function. If you are not using filter. If you're only using filter, then just use the one which is the 1 series. The 1 series over the 100 series. Now, the 100 series can be used for both, right? But they are not able to clear it up. What they do is when you unfilter clear it, you will take up the hidden row as well. So that's very dangerous. So usually we just separate them. Either you use filter or you use hide. You don't use both. Okay, let me save this again, just in case you want this information as well. So I'm going to close this. Now, due to time factor, I need to move on really quick. I'm going to number 2 now. So just to share with you a little bit of those work that you commonly have. So here, I have one column called first name, another column called last name. And I would like to have a full name. So previously, in the older version, now, whatever I'm going to show you here is from version 2016, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 and above. If you are using any version lower, then it won't work. Now, I'm going to show you something. This is the Evergreen function that you can use. You can use this function called Concatenate. I think a lot of people know about the Concatenate because the moment you do a Google search, this is the result that always appear. So what you do is you tell them Amila, comma. Now, because we want Amila and Carpenter to be joined together, but we need a space in between them. You look at the example in this G5. There's a space in between them. Therefore, you have to put in this open quote, space, then close quote, comma, and you point it to the Carpenter. Now you have Amila Carpenter. So that's one way you can do that. One way that you can do that. So the function is called this formula. Okay. Another way you can write this, you can write equals to, now without the function, you can put even, then you put the ampersand symbol, space, and put the ampersand symbol. The ampersand symbol is used for you to join the text. So now you point it to York. There you go. So let me just copy the formula down. I'm going to show you a couple of formula in fact. Okay, so this one, you can use that. So my personal preference, preference will be the second one, not the concatenate. Okay. Of course, now if you are using Microsoft 365, this is what you do. You can use the new function called TextJoin. TextJoin, and you just have to highlight. You see, the first item they want from you is the delimiter. What is actually separating all the text? So what you do is you tell them it's a space. So if that particular range is an empty cell, then what are you going to do about it? Just ignore. So usually we will just put true, comma. And what are the texts? Now you can just highlight them. Oops, sorry, this one. So I'll just enter. Edison Doyle. There's another way you can do this. Text join. Now I'm going to join all this. So I'm going to color all this into yellow. See all this yellow cell. So I'm saying equals to text join. Okay. Text join. So I'm going to separate them by using a space, colon, space. Space, colon, space, comma, and if it's empty, leave it, then ignore the empty cell, and I'm going to highlight all this yellow cell here. When I press enter, you'll join all this until gamma. You see that? There's a space, colon, space, space, colon, space. This is how you can join them together. So let's just say I remove the name Jensen. See, Jameson is in here. If I remove this, you don't even know that there's a space, because in the formula it says ignore the empty cell. So I'm going to write the formula down here. Formula text of this one. So this is the formula. So let me just make it a different color so that you can see it. This one is the formula for this. So the rest of them are side by side, but for this one, I'm doing it. You guys understand? You can use the text join. So if you have a lot of text that you want to join together into one single cell, that's what you do. Okay. Now I'm going to go down a little bit. So I'm going to remove some of this name here. I'm going to remove them. Okay, so I'm going to ask Excel, can you please do something for me? Now, I want to have a full name. Okay, let me just say full name. I can do this equals to no function involved. Sorry, no equal. I properly type the equal, but if I tell you that there's no equal sign here, you're just going to type there Robin, then space, you put there Stewart, Robin Stewart, and I press enter. So if I want to fill up the rest of the name, I just press Control E for flash fill. This one is called flash fill. So how do you do that? How do you do that? You press Control, right? E. After you give them the sample, okay, let me do this again. After you have given them the first sample, Robin Stewart, enter. Now, when you press enter, Microsoft has already now trying to find out how did you get Robin, how do you put a space, how do you get the Stewart, and all you need to do just press Control with the alphabet E. The rest of them will be filled up. So, are you getting it correct? Looks like it's correct. No problem. So if I go to this cell and I put here RO, I put it in capital letter ROST. ROST. So I press Control E, see, AMDA, GEMC, GEMC. They will give you the first two initials of the name. So no longer need to do all the formula if you have something so simple to work on, right? So these are the magic nowadays. Okay, flash fill, you can try that out. I hope you like what I have just shown you. So that will make sure that you don't work long hours on Excel to get this kind of work done where it can be done in just seconds of your time, right? Within seconds, now I fill up the whole long list. Now, this is not a very long list, but if I have a few thousand rows, I'll fill it up in just seconds. You just have to make sure the first one is correct. Okay. Now, what about, now all these are joining it, right? All these are joining it. So what about if I want to split it? I want to split the information. Okay, so let me just come here. I no longer want to, now I'm going to show you some formula first. I'm going to show you some formula. So, where am I? Here. Okay, so I want to know the first name. So I can do this. The function is, I'm going to tell them text split, right? Text split. Text split. So the first one is, where is the text? Over here. Then the one is the column delimiter. Is actually the space. Okay. Is there any row delimiter? No. Now, then I can just close bracket. The rest of them are optional. So I just press enter. I'll get my first name and last name done. Just text split will do. So I just have to copy this one down. Got it. Okay, this seminar will take from 11:30 on my time, Malaysia time, to about how long? 11, 12, 1:30. But like I told you earlier at the beginning, it may be extended because we have so many topics that I want to cover, right? So the first one is called a text split. But if I don't want it to be split, I only want the first name. Now you can try this function instead. You do it down here. Equals to text before. I only want Adina. So I tell them, can you please take out the text before? So where's the text? Here. And what is the delimiter? It's a space. So they only give you one item. They are not going to split it for you. They will only take one item. So for this one, I want to say, okay, text after. Right? Then I'll go to Jameson, comma, is a So after the delimiter, I'll pull up the data. I do not want both. Yeah, you can have the function call. Now let me just put the formula text here. So there's the text before, and down here, this is the text after. So please use all these functions to help you get your work done without actually thinking so much on how do you break down something that is like a few 100,000 row in just seconds. Now you have the magic. So if I do not want to use any function, I can do this. Okay, I can use this method. I'm going to come here. I'm going to put here Brenda. Okay, so press Control E. Ta-da! Done. It's even faster than the function. So now it's getting better and better and better now. So of course, you learn both. You don't just learn one, simply because if I change this name here to Kelvin Ng, that's me, Kelvin Ng, and you notice they will appear automatically, Kelvin Ng. However, if I come down here, Brenda Hayes, I change it to Kelvin Ng, it will still be Brenda, simply because there's no formula in the second method here. Now, if you know that the data that you are receiving is not going to change ever again, then you use this second method. Okay. The first method here is when you know that the data will keep on changing. Right? Now, there are also people in the industry would like to use things like this. Okay, let me just copy and paste it down here. Now, the Evergreen feature, the Evergreen, that means it has been there since the first version of Microsoft Excel, is what they call the text to column. So we highlight this, we go to the data, we can use the text to column. Now, this is going to take a few steps, right? A few steps, but what I show you, the flash view, is done quickly. Now, if the data that you are having here is all separated by space, so you just use a delimiter, click next. You just tell them I'm using space, not tab, done. Okay, and I want to place my answer in column H36. So I go next. Now I'm going to change this from G36 to H36. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to click on this cell. I tell them, please put the answer starting from H36. Then I click finish. I'm done. Yeah, this is another method that you can do. There's so many ways. Please just don't be too analytic about it. Whichever way that can help you get your job done, go ahead. Again, this method, the text to column, does not contain formula. If there are any changes, don't expect them to change. If your data is always changing, then what do? You use functions. If your data is fixed, no more changes, I recommend you use just the flash fill. Why go through the hassle of doing this when you can just flash fill it, right? Like this guy here, Hayes. Okay, let me just put Hays. Where's my capital letter? Hays. Then I just press Control E. I got it done. I don't even need to go to data, text to column. Of course, if that's your favorite tools, continue to use it. Continue to use it. And of course, if you are still using a very old version of Microsoft Office, then text to column is your only solution in that. Yeah, do that. Do that. Whichever way. Now, I'm not showing you a complete solution, but I'm just trying to introduce the feature. I'm introducing the feature so that you can do that. Now, what if I have something like this? Okay, let me just copy this down further. I have something here called former Justin colon Kim. And I would like to split this into 4 different columns. Okay, so I will use the function called text split. Okay, so this is the text. Okay, so now because it comes with a few different delimiter, so we will use the curly bracket, comma. Then we have something called comma. Then we have something here called colon, right? Curly bracket, right? So let's see whether it works. See, we broke it down into multiple items. Yeah, you can still use them. Where's my Kim? My Kim is missing. Yeah, Kim is here. Kim is here. Because there is a space, right? There's a space between them. So anything that comes with a space, you will have a space. So if I'm careful with the space, I will say that, sorry, where's my formula? Okay, the formula. So I will tell them space, then I put there comma, comma with a space, then the colon have a space in front and a space after. When I do that, now they join. So formula text. Huh? Okay, so if you have more than one delimiter that is inside that particular text, this is what you're going to use. Of course, subjected to if you're using Microsoft 365. Okay. So when you have more than one type of delimiter found in the text, that means it's more than one, right? More than one means it's an array of data. So curly bracket to define the array of data. There you go. Not only 3 or 4 names, but 3 or 4 different delimiter. This is how you do it. Right. I hope you like what you see so far on this exercise. Okay, I have another one down here. Is it? Yeah. Now, I have something here that says I have Amila Carpenter from training. I have Evan York from admin. I have Edison from finance. Then we're not admin again. So now I would like to find out the unique information about the training. I want to know how many different type of, not how many, but I want to see all the unique department that I have. So I'm going to put in here. I'm just going to copy this, copy and paste it here. Then I'll just click on this button, remove duplicate. When I do that, I'm just going to, no need to expand, there's nothing else. So I just click continue with this list. So when I hit OK, there you go. They only have this few department. Okay, so this is when you want to use the remove duplicate to do this. Now, if I don't want to use this method, let me just push this to the side. Yeah, let me just take this one and push this to the side. There's something there. Okay, replace it. Okay, let me just set the column. Just going to push this away. Now, if you want to use formula to do this, you can put there unique. Use the function called unique. So this is the array that you want to find out the unique. Then just close bracket. Immediately you will find them appear. You don't have to go and click replace to remove duplicate and whatnot. Just use the function called formula text of this guy here. Just use the function called unique. Unique means something that is not repeated. So they will find all the unique value in the particular. So if you are planning to build if you are trying to build a drop-down list from here, a drop-down list, let's just say I go up here, I want to build a drop-down list based on this. So I just go to the data validation, go to the list. Now you're telling them, please take this list here. The list, the unique is this one. Now don't highlight them, just click the first cell, but you have to insert this particular hash, the hashtag in front of the O15, O5. So when you hit OK, this drop-down list will follow the list that we have. Okay, so let's just say I have another one here called Kelvin Ng, right? From the management department, right? So if I go to this, like they will not have the management department. So what I'm going to do is, because this is only until M14, but I added it in until row number 15. So in order to make everything become so dynamic, I will just click on this table. I will turn it into a table, or you can press Ctrl T. So my table has a header, done. Okay. So now when I write the formula just now for this particular function, right? Instead of pointing it to M5 to M14, I will point to this table, the department. So each time when there are new item added, my drop-down list here will have the management. So if I have someone here, let's just say, okay, so this one is the CEO department. CEO department. So the CEO department appear, my list will have the CEO department. Everything is just one-time deal. You only do it one time. You remove whatever that's duplicate, you can build the list just enough for whatever that is new in the list, you just have that. Okay, so think about where you can use this so that you only have to build it once and you can use it multiple times, anywhere. So these are all the things that you can build very quickly. Okay, so I'm going to save this file. Sorry, I'm going a little bit fast, I know, but yeah, I got time constraint here. Okay, save. Later, after the session, for those of you who are here and you want this file, we'll get the host to send it to you, right? I'll pass it to the host and the host will send it to you. I'm going to move on because time is not on my side now. I'm going to go to number 3 now, advanced formula. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something. Ask the host, where can you get the plane? Yeah, I think the host will send the link to you. Now, if you look at this data that I have here in column A, there are a lot of spaces in between. And to let you know that inside this particular data, there are a lot of non-printable data in here. There's a lot of non-printable data. So once you want to clean it, you have to do it this way, equals to clean it, right? So clean. And you want to remove the space, you put trim. You want to clean and trim, just like do a shave, you trim off, now clean and trim, and you will highlight this range. So what I've done is, right, A4 to A13. So I will close 2 brackets here. The list will appear to be nicely trimmed. All those spaces, all those not printable data is no longer there. Okay, so now I want to perform what we call a VLookup. So I want to take Oliver Taylor. I want to look inside this table and I want to find the name, the location, the account number, and the amount. So by the time I change this Oliver Taylor, I will get all this information out. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Now, equals to VLookup. I'm going to tell them, please refer to this G3, and look inside that table. Okay, look inside the table. But the table, we are having a little bit of problem with this, right? So what we do is we tell them to clean and trim, right? This whole table here. This whole list. Okay, I'm going to lock, no need to lock also now. I can just lock now, just lock it. And G3 also I lock it. So I press F4 to lock. And come back here, I'll just close the 2 bracket. This time I'm telling them, I want you to look for the first item here, which is the customer name. So instead of me type 1, I'll tell them, please match for me this value, customer name. Now let me just put comma, and then I highlight this 4 title up here. So I want them to match it for me. So for this I lock and 0, comma. And so when I press enter, I'll get Oliver Taylor. And all I need to do is just copy across. I get it done. So next time, I just change this to Jackson Lee. They'll give me Jackson Lee from Johor Bahru. Jackson Lee from Johor Bahru. You see from Johor Bahru? And Why is Jackson Lee from? No, Ethan Smith. Why is this Ethan Smith? I choose this Jackson Lee, but it came out Jackson Lee, but it came out Ethan Smith. Column number, row trim. Where did it go wrong? Jackson Lee, supposed to find in here, right? Jackson Lee. Just find out. Say this one. I press F9. Yeah, these are the people. Lee, Jackson Lee, okay, done. And I'm looking for the match of G. Oh, okay. This one is supposed to be locked. The G6, G6 to 76. Okay, fine. This is not going to be locked. But let's see. Am I getting it correct? Sorry about the mistake here. This is 1. It's fine. Okay, what about this one? This match here, am I getting number 2? Okay, it's number 2. But they are finding the wrong information. So any idea why? No, that's because I didn't put exact match. Everything is correct. So Jackson Lee, and I copy to the right, I get it correct. Now, what is missing from my formula just now is this last part. Now, please be very careful when you write VLookup. If you are going to find an exact match, you make sure it's 0. Now, that was just a drama just now to say, hey, what happened? Why cannot find? Why am I getting the wrong answer? That was just a drama. I know what's going on here because I didn't tell them to look for the exact match. Now, the last portion here, this formula is asking you, are you going to look for the exact match or is it an approximate match? If you use empty, you don't type anything, it will default to true. True means anything that is closest. We cannot have a name that is closest. So we have to make sure we find a one-to-one match. So you use 0 or false in this case. So if you want to be clear, you just use false. And press enter, go down, you'll get all correct. Now, one of the things I want to mention to you guys is that when you use VLookup, don't be too happy when you already have the answer. Please double check. Just like what I did just now. Hey, I choose Jackson Lee, but we came out Ethan. Why? So this is for you to double check. Don't just be too happy because when you use the VLookup, you must understand when are you going to look the exact match. The exact match is very important for you to match the information. Now, thank you all those people who have been helping me to answer the question. You guys are awesome. I don't need this anymore and remove it. Okay, so in this exercise, okay, the formula is it's a very long formula. Yeah, it's a long formula. Okay, so what I'm using here is basically the name of all those area. Okay, name of all those areas. So that's why you see so many error, what's called the dollar sign and so on. Let me just make it color and bold for you so you can see. This one is for the first formula. And so let me just put a shape here. This one. Let me draw this. This is the formula. Outline. This formula that you see is for Jackson. Now, I'm going to move on. There's something very useful that you can use. Now, what I'm showing you here will be outdated very soon because Microsoft Excel will soon announce that the cell that you have, you can insert picture into the cell. It used to be like until now, we still cannot, right? They will appear in your insert picture under the device. They will have the choice of where you want to put them. Is it as a picture or is it in cell? You have that, but soon you will have that. Right now, no, not even my version, Microsoft 365. I don't have it yet. All right, so what I'm planning to do now is this. Now, of course, the database is not supposed to be in the same worksheet. It's supposed to be in different worksheet. So I have prepared this information. I say, okay, guys, I'm going to look for the name. So I'm going to not VLookup, but HLookup based on this name, and I'm going to look inside the table array. So my table array is here. Okay, lock it, comma. Then I'm going to find out the name. The name is in column number 2. Row number 2. And of course, this time I'm also going to use the exact match. So am I going to get the correct answer? Yes, I'm going to get Rachel. Okay, so I'm going to copy this formula. Now, copy this formula. But if I don't want to copy the formula, I can still do the match function. Okay, let's do the match function. To be on the safe side, we just do the match function for this number here. Match what? Match the name C4 in this column here. Right, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, right? So I'll lock this, right? Comma 0, false. So I still get Rachel, and all I need to do is just copy this one down. Oops, what happened? Now I need to lock that C3, F4. Yeah, I'm going to get the rest. So it's quite fast. Quite fast equals to formula text of this cell. There you go. I just write a very common formula that a lot of people. Why is it so big? A lot of merge cell here. Sorry about that. All these are merge cell. So this is the formula for the first item there. And you just have to copy down. You get it done. Now, the topic that I'm showing you here is not HLookup. But of course, if you are new to HLookup, you can study this HLookup. So what I'm going to do now is I want this picture to change. If I choose a different manager, for example, I want to look for Mark. Mark is 039. So employee 039. It changed it to Mark. So how is that possible, right? How did the picture change? All right, so I'm going to remove whatever that you see up here. Okay. If it's not there, if I change it to 470, which is Sam 470, this one don't change now. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to write a formula that can help me to find the picture. The picture is in column row number 3, right? Now I'm going to use a function called index and match. Right? Index and match. But I won't write my formula here. I will go to my formula ribbon now. Please pay attention to the formula ribbon. I'll click the define name. So this is where I'm going to write the formula. So I'm going to give a name here called picture, or maybe I'll put there employee picture. Now I put this as employee picture. It's quite long, the name, right? And all the names that you are going to give cannot have spaces, cannot have symbol. That's why you see I wrote there employee picture and they stick together. They stick together. So now I'm going to write the formula. Okay, so I have to do everything myself. There's no helper in this. So I'm going to put that equals to index, open bracket. Watch this video again to familiarize with what I'm doing here. I'm going to highlight all this information here, right? So I'm going to tell them, select this, select this. So this is the information that I want to extract out. The one that I want to extract out, comma. By matching, so I'm going to put the match. Match of what? Match of this picture here, this particular name here, the employee ID here, comma, match the employee ID where? Over here. Okay, comma, 0, comma, close bracket. So 0 means exact match. So all I need to do is just click OK now. That's it. I already have the formula written and the formula is inside here now. employee picture. So this is the formula that I've written. Okay, so the name of this particular item here is called employee picture. So I select this picture now, select the picture. I say, this picture, I would like to attach to that formula. So I say, go to the formula bar. I say equals to employee picture. When I press enter, it will change. So 470, Sam, this person. So if I want to go to Kumar 0056, so Kumar 056, I will set Kumar's picture. If I go to 401, which is Carmen, I'll get Carmen picture. Don't worry, just watch first. If you can follow, good. But if you can't, that's fine as well. The recording will be given. I keep repeating this, so I scared you become so, why is this coming doing so fast? No, that's because I have time to complete my work. Right? So you can watch this over and over again. Right? You can even go to my channel, YouTube channel. I have similar video here that can share with you as well. Right? You can do that. Now, I'm going to move on. Okay, let's see. Thank you for this. It's not about particularly about the changeable of data input. It is not allowed to touch anything on a particular file. Okay. What was the question? If you want a difficult answer, use the below. Oh, somebody is giving that meet function, find function, or okay, Sifu, but I don't use that anymore. Due to all the new function, you can eliminate that from your library. Thank you, Aravind, for answering. Is it Aravind that's answering me, or who is answering me? I think Aravin's Ram is answering. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have so many Excel experts here. Oh, I'm shy already. Okay, so but anyway, please, for those of you who have very good basic, right? Good. Right. Now there's also another resource that you can go to now, which is very friendly and it has no emotion. It will not scold you. Right? ChatGPT. If you have no idea how to do it, ask ChatGPT. So the only question or only problem we have is we do not know how to ask the question. So please go through ChatGPT, just ask them and they will show you how you can use some of those functions. You can say, give me some example of splitting the text in Microsoft Excel. They will give you some examples. You learn from there as well. That's one way of learning. Right? So don't shy away. For those of you who are expert in Excel, don't shy away from ChatGPT. Don't do that. Embrace them because they are here to help you. Don't treat them like it's your enemy. No, they are your savior. They are here to help you to cut down your research. Not using Google anymore because Google gives you tons of data, but some of them not even related to your question. Right? And you cannot chat with them. This ChatGPT can chat with them. That's very good. Right. Now, let me just move on. I think the permission, you actually need to do something with the permission. A lot of people say they cannot download the drive. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the next one here. Okay, now I'm going to do a quick search based on the keywords. So this is search by keywords. Search by keywords. So if I type here SO, I want the list of all the names appear. Not list of them, list of all those company name that has the SO in it to appear. Now, of course, this sounds like what? Sounds like filter. Okay, sounds like filter. Indeed, it is a filter. But the good news about this is I don't want to touch the filter. I want to use function to do this. So I just imagine this particular column here is basically in another worksheet. I don't want to go back there and do the filter and then copy and paste it out. So I need to the data to be out here immediately. Okay, so to start off, I just want to tell you that I have something here called eData. Sorry, wrong sheet. Let me just see what I named them. Do I have any name here? No, there's no name here. Okay, now then we'll just use this. Let me call this one as what do I call it? Company name, right? Maybe I put there company data. So I call it company data, right? Then this column here. Okay, I think I made a blunder. Company data. I do want to start with row 5. I want to start with row 6 instead. Row 6, So if I go to company data, it will be just the data itself. Then I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to call this one as company name. So these are the company name, and this whole thing here is the company data. All right, so let me just quickly show you how the formula works. The function is called filter, and the array is the company data. Okay, comma. Then what is it that you are looking for? I'm looking for all those names that have SO, based on this search here, SO in the company name. So what do? I tell them is number search, because I'm going to use the function called search. Search what? Find the text in L6, comma, in where? The company name. Then I close bracket, right? Close another bracket to close the search, and close another bracket for the filter. So when I press enter, okay, am I getting it right? Company data, filter, L6. Okay, something is missing here. Comma. Okay, it says here spilled. Okay, I think I have something around here. Is it true? Oh yeah, I might have something around there. That's why it can't spill. So you see SO, everything appear. Then if I type here LO, you give me the company that has LO in it. Okay, so if I put in here STN, all those company that has a STN in it will appear. Okay, so all those name that has a IA in it, these are the one which have IA, they will appear. So if you know a keyword that you want to find, so you can use this function called filter on the text of this. Okay, now I ad hoc, I all of a sudden want to give a name. So for this one, I just make sure don't include the title, just the value, and just tell them that the value here is called the company name, and the whole thing here, excluding the title, is called the company data. So now you can have this filter to help you extract this without actually touching the filter. So if you touch the filter, what happens is you go to filter. Once you filter, you have to copy out and you have to paste it somewhere, right? Now you can even hide this portion and just do your work. That portion is actually in another worksheet, let's say. So just leave them in another worksheet and it will still work. Okay, so I'm just trying to tell you that to simulate the situation that if this data is not side by side, you will still be able to do your work. Just give you some idea on how it works. Right? So the filter function. Okay. Now let me save the file. Now, please don't be annoyed with me. I know I'm going very fast. Now, I'm going this fast and I don't want to stop for you to follow because if you look at the time, it's already 1 o'clock Malaysian time. So it might be what already 12 o'clock at your place, right? So if you are from India, if you're India, Bangladesh, and Nepal, you are already like 11 o'clock, right? So 2 hours pass really fast. So I only have another half an hour, but I told you it's going to be extended now. So please bear with me. Don't worry about this. If you really like to learn what I have just shared with you, pester the host for the video recording. It's all I can tell you. Pester them. Ask them to give you the video. Right. So contact them and ask them to give the video. Sorry, Suraj, I'm just being the bad man here. All right. So it's 1 p.m. and it's lunchtime. You can munch your food as in you are learning as well. Okay. So where am I now? Let's go to the chart. Now we have done number 3. I'm going to the chart. So this is going to be a lot more relaxed, not so taxing anymore. Now I'm going to build a chart. In this example, I'm going to build a chart, but I don't have any data that is given to me. That means no one actually create a report. No one create a report, but the instruction given is, Kelvin, can you please create a report to compare the 4 products that we have in the company, the sales of the 4 products. So the 4 product, it can come from 4 different worksheets, or it can come from 4 different files. I leave it to you, wherever the file, the data is. So let's take a look. Now I'm simplifying it. So this is my data for tools. Now you can have a huge report, but you know which data you need. Then you have the supply, furniture, and plants. Right. So I'm going to collect these 4 data and put them as a chart. I put them in as a chart. So first thing I need to do is insert a chart. So I'm going to build a column, clustered column chart. Build this. I'll just make this big. Like this. So this is the chart that I'm having. But right now, because I told you there is no data or no report generated, so I'm going to build my chart now. So let's take a look. I'm going to these tools. I'm just going to highlight all this January to December with the title tools and the 12 value here. I'm going to do what you are already very good at. Some of you are even an expert in this. It's called copy and paste. So make sure that your chart is selected. Just press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+V. There you go. It's here. So I will continue to pick up the information from supply, copy, go back to my report, and paste. I go to the furniture, copy, and paste. Then I go to the plants, copy, and paste. Now, some of you will be saying, hey, what happened if they are from different files? Go ahead, open all the files that you want to copy. Do it one by one. Take the first file, copy the data, come here, make sure your chart area is selected, paste it. The next thing you know, it's already a chart. Okay, so I'm going to beautify this chart a little bit. I'm just going to add in the title, the chart title. So I'm going to call this one as sales report for the year maybe 2022. Yeah, all that. So I'm just going to make this one bigger, make it red color maybe, make it bigger like this. So I need to have a legend. So I go to the plus symbol. Okay, let's go to the legend. And I want to put the legend right below the title. There you go. I have the legend. So if you want the legend slightly bigger, just change the size of the text. That is good enough. Then your boss says, hey, where are all the value? Can you show the value? Now, because you are using a clustered column, if you show the label, it will look ugly, You show the label. They are all not so nice. So what I want to do now is, instead of label, I go to data table. In the data table, I'll put the one with the legend. So now you know each and every row, the numbers are there. So you don't really need a data label for that. For every column, you can see the legend at the table, and you can see purple color means the plants. Then you look at the last value, which is the 17,000, 11,000, 28,000. So they are here. So there's no reason for you to collect the data first to prepare the chart. You can just do copy and paste. You guys are already good at copy and paste. These are the things that you can do. This is just a quick tips on how you can bring in your chart into this. All right, so I think I'm not going to spend more time here. If you want, you can color it. So I don't want you to spend your time coloring it column by column, element by element. No, you can just go to the drop this particular uh, brush here, pick the brush and go through the list. What do you like? Maybe I like this. I'll click. There you go. Done. I don't want to spend so much time coloring it one by one. Or if you say, no, I don't want this color. Okay, go ahead. Go to the color and say, okay, let's make it blue. This kind of color, this kind of color, or the orange color. The one that is down here. Maybe this is good. Or you want this one. Okay, orange is good. You can change it. So just go through the list in this example. All right. Now, I have another chart that I want to share with all of you, which is called a pie chart. Pie chart. Now, basically, a lot of people like to prepare a pie chart, but the pie chart don't really represent themselves. Okay, to me, I find it like it's the hardest chart that you can use a representation, a visual that is the hardest to represent. Why? Because it is too narrow. There's a lot of information that you want to show, but it's too narrow. And if you use the legend to help people, that is actually giving them more trouble. Let me just share with you what I mean by this. So if I highlight these 12 months with the value without the total, without the word amount, I just want this. Okay, so let's just say we have here Bernard Julius Ramos. Bernard, can I just call you Bernard? Bernard, this is your salary per month in USD. How nice, Bernard? So let's do that. Let's go to the insert. We go to the pie. So now we want to look at the distribution of salary in Bernard's salary. So if I ask you, okay, if I ask you, what does this brown color here represent? Until you move your mouse over, you will see, oh, this is August. The value is 60,000 and it's 8%. Now, what happens if I don't want like go to every single one to see this, but I want it to appear as my label? Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this one, go to I'll take away the legend because the legend, like I said, it's pretty hard for me to detect which color is which. There are two types of purple, there are two types of green, they are all quite close because of the legend is quite small. So I want to remove that. I don't want the legend at all. Okay, I can keep the title, right? But let's just say in this example, I don't want the title. So it looks like I removed everything. Now I'm making things worse. I'm not making it better, right? Until I turn on the data label and I say I want to put it outside. So when I put it outside, I will have the label lining up outside the chart. So what I'm going to do next is this. Okay, I will right click or double click, up to you. I will right click. I'll go to format data label. Now, when I choose the format data label, I have a choice of adding more information into the label. For example, I can click on category. So when I click on category name, then I will have all the months written next to the number. Now, I don't want them to arrange side by side like this. The separator between the word Jan and the number is actually a comma. Now, that's because the separator used in this example is a comma. So I'm going to choose this thing called new line. So now I'm inserting my every information in your label, it will stay in the new line. So if I add in another item here called percentage, it will be added below. New line, every new line. And if I want my percentage to appear in 2 decimal places, I just have to close this label option here, go to the number formatting, change it from general to percentage. There you go. Done. So of course, this chart will be so much easier to read now. If you look at this, this is August. Instead of put my mouse in there to read, now I can read it as my label. So now you can represent your data a lot more nicer compared to the earlier. Okay, so I hope you like the way it is presented here. Now, assuming we are presenting the month of July, because this month is July, I want to present this month called July. So what I'll do is I'll select the whole entire pie and I'm going to rotate. So go to this angle of the first slice. What I'll do is I'll put my mouse right at the end of this line here because I have no idea how many degree I need to turn. So I just click at the end here and just press the line and I'll just push. Remember July, I want to put my July somewhere here. See, I'm rotating my chart. Then now I have my entire pie selected, but I actually only want July. So I click again in the slice that contains July. I can put it up. So now my emphasis is this particular month compared to the rest. You guys understand? So this is something you can work on to make your chart presented in a way that it is so easy to understand. So in chart, right, there are 3 things you must remember. How do you get the data? How are you going to add the chart elements? Remember all the title, all the data table, all this kind of thing, all this data label, all these are very important. And the third thing is the formatting. You notice for this pie chart, I have formatted it so that it can be seen clearly and very straightforward to the point how many percent, what is the value. I can even take this chart now, cover the original data. I can still present this to anyone without actually showing the table. Why? Because I don't want to confuse them by reading this number here because the number is already there. Just close it. You don't need that. So if you feel like there's a little bit of overlapping here and there, just click at the area here. You see this box up here? Now you can hold on your control to make it smaller. So just bring it smaller in, a bit smaller, so that the chart is smaller. Now the label doesn't overlap. Okay. Just make the chart smaller. The plot area is smaller. Okay. Browse data. Data plot. Done. Yeah, you're right, Ravi. You can show both. Why choose one when you can show both? If you don't want the number, then just untick the number and you show percentage. Yeah. Now, some people will just prefer to show the percentage. Now, some will say, hey, percentage and number. The choice is just one tick away. So there's no reason to fight about it. Just if you don't want, just untick it yourself. If you want, just tick it yourself. It will just appear. Right? So the choice is just a tick away. Good one there, Aaron. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to close this file. Well, it looks like I can be on time after all, right? Because I pity those of you who are from Philippines. It's going to be quite late for you. So let's go to number 5 then. Okay. If I have, if this is a very simple report. If I have a report similar to something like this, there are 3 things that I'm going to show in this example here. So let's just say I'll go by the first one. So let's look at the tools. Tools. The product called tools. Remember we built the chart just now? The chart can already display which month is the highest. But assuming we are not building any charts, we have this report, but when we present it, we want to immediately illustrate which month is the highest, which month is the second highest, which month is the third highest. We want to illustrate that. So want to make it a little bit obvious. So we will highlight this whole 12 value here, and we're going to ask Excel, can you please compare this 12 value for me? Then show me which one is number 1, number 2, number 3. So I'm going to go to this conditional formatting. I will look at something called top bottom rules, top 10 item. Okay, top 10 item. Now, I'm going to find out which one is the highest. So I put 1. 1. Okay, then I say I want it to be red color. Okay, red color. There you go. It's already showing me the highest. So if I go to June and I put a 3 in front, obviously June will be the highest, and the color will just go there. So in this conditional formatting, they will just look for the highest number within the range that you highlight earlier. So the color is only loyal to the highest value. It will always go there. Right? So let me undo this. But I told you just now, I want it to show top 1, top 2, top 3. So I'm going to do this again. So this time, I want to show the top 2. Earlier, I do top 1. Now I'm going to show you top 2. So I go to this top bottom rows. I want to show 2 instead. 2. I'm going to have 2 red color because the color is still red. I'm going to change the color to yellow. Okay, when I hit OK, I notice that now both the value are colored yellow. Then where is my red? Now, don't worry and don't panic. It's still there, but you just need to do a little bit of tweak. You have to go to your conditional formatting, manage rule. Now, I promise you, everything is still there. See, the red color is still there. It's just that it doesn't show. Now, let me explain to you what actually happened. In this conditional formatting, they are evaluating the rules from top down. I mean, they will complete the first one, then they move down to the second one. So what happened here is they look for top 2. So they found April, they found December, and they color it yellow. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Then they will move down to the next criteria. So they are applying something here called first come, first serve. If you come first, you get it. If you come second, sorry, it's taken, that kind of situation. So because the cell April and December is already colored yellow, when you move to the top one, they found December. Like I said, it's taken, you cannot override. So the top one does not have any place to color it. So the only way you can tweak this is click the top one and say move it up. Make that your first option. So then when I click apply, you notice you will do the top one first, they color December. So December reached there, yay, it's mine. Then you go to the top 2, you say, oh, I found this April and December. Too bad. December is taken, so they can only color April. It's not that the top 2 doesn't want to color December, but December is taken by the top 1. So they will do the first come, first serve kind of a situation. If the cell formatting is taken by another condition, then you cannot override that. Okay, so let's do close. Now, if I continue to do this, I say top 10 item, I put 3. This time around, I use green color. Now I have all green. So what do you think I should do now? I just go to the manage rule, take the green, and push it all the way down. Then when I hit apply, I will have 3 different colors. So now when you present this analysis to your bosses, you say the red, now tell them it's a traffic light color. Red, yellow, green. Red is first, green and yellow is second, green is third. So you will notice the sequence. Now if June, as I added just now 3, when I press enter, you notice all the color will just change places now. January is no longer in the league because someone else is higher than that. So you won't be able to get it. Yeah, the traffic sign. So that you can do that. Okay, now that's number one. That's number one. So you just go to the conditional manage rule to do that. Now, the second item that I want to do now is for the supply, a different condition. I want to know from January to December, which are the months from January to December we already achieved the target. And our target is stated in D5 up here, 15,000. So as long as any of this number here are greater than 15,000, I want Excel to give me a tick next to the number. So I will use something here that says icon set. I'll use the tick. Now I like the one with the circle, so I'm going to put the circle tree symbol. Right. However, the symbol that you see now is not actually following my condition. My condition just now was I said, as long as they are greater than 15,000, I want to see a tick. But now they are applying their default, something that Microsoft has already put in as a default. So I will make some changes. I'll go to the manage rule. You notice that any changes that I want to make, I have to go back to the manage rule. Manage rule. Earlier, I was talking about the arrangement. This time, I'm going to go to the edit. All right. So it says that now from the beginning till just now, I didn't mention anything about showing exclamation mark or the cross. So I'm going to take away these two. I'll tell them no cell icon, no cell icon. Don't show any cell icon. I just want to see good news. I don't want to see bad news. I just want to see good news. Which month is good? Right. So give me a green color circle tick with a white color tick when the value is greater than. Now it says here percentage. If you look at here, it says there percentage. So change the percentage to number and remove this 0 to D5. Don't type the 15,000, but refer it to D5. So in the event the stakeholder says, no, it's not 15,000, it's 20,000, then they can go to the D5 and change it themselves. So I'm going to go do that. Okay. Then I do okay again. You notice now, I will only have from March all the way to October, I will have a tick mark because they are more than 15,000. So like I said, if the stakeholder decided to change it to 20,000, then I will have lesser green tick because March doesn't have that value more than 20,000. Okay, so what you do now is if I change it to 30,000, I will have lesser tick mark. The higher your target goes, the lesser the tick mark will appear. So I've just put it back to 15,000, 15,000, and so the control is now in this particular cell, the 15,000. They can see the trend, or shall I say, whichever. Let's just say this is not the month, this is actually the salesperson. If you put there 20,000, you want to know who has already achieved the target. The tick mark will definitely show who has achieved the target. So when in a meeting, you just change this value, you know who are they on the safe zone. Those without the tick, they are in trouble. Show the way to set condition. The set condition, number one, you have to highlight, go to the condition here and choose whichever presets that is given to you. After you have the preset, if they are not following what you actually want, you just go to manage rule. Go to the manage rule and you just click the rule and edit it. Thank you so much, Aravind. You have been a great help. Now, what I'm going to do next is this, right? I want to put here, let's just say 70,000. 70,000. Okay, this is the value, 70,000. Now, I want to do something like this. As long as the total is more than 70,000, as long as the total is more than 70,000, I want the entire row to be highlighted. Now, looks like this one is not. So let's look for those greater than 70,000. There, this one. So we'll color it yellow. Okay, that's my plan. That's my plan. I want to color the whole row, not one cell. So all this while, the example I'm showing you is in one column, But what I'm checking is this column. What I'm checking is this column, but the effect is on all the other columns. The effects is on all other columns. So this is what you're going to do. Watch carefully. I'm going to start selecting from B7 all the way to G18 until G18. Okay, so it's similar to what I did for this supply, but this time is on a bigger scale, the total. So I'm going to this, right? Conditional formatting. Now I'm not going to use this thing called the icon, but I'm going to write my own rule because I need the whole row to be colored. So I go to new rule. So in this new rule, I'm going to write a formula. I'm going to write a formula. Now, if this is blocking your way, please put them into the center. So the rules that I'm going to write here, the formula is in this text box here. Now I'm in the cell B7. So this B7 will have to check whether G7, so I click on G7. Now, you notice when I use my mouse to click on the G7, it says there $G $7. Now, if I fix it at G7, $G $7, if the value goes down from B7 to B8, it will not go to G8. So I need to make sure that I make some changes here. I will only lock the alphabet G, but not the row 7. Greater than equals to my G5. The G5 is my target. So now I'm going to format them. Okay, so I go to the field. I'll use a green color instead. Okay, again. All those total, which is greater than 70,000, the entire row is highlighted. Right? Okay, zoom in for more clarity here. Just show you that again. Conditional formatting, manage row, and date. $G7 because I need to fix the column, but I don't want to fix the row. Because when I'm in B7, I check G7. When I'm B8, I have to check G8. So if I lock the 7, it will stay at 7. So I have to make sure that they move together. Hope you understand this part. Okay, so now if I change this to 60,000, 60, 60,000, now I'm going to have more area color. Okay, all those that you see in green, they are greater than 60,000. So if I change this to 80,000, then you will notice that only two rows, like April and October, is more than 80,000. So if I go to June now, and I just add another 10,000 to the sales for June in tools, and I press enter, now June is inside the group of 80,000. Okay. So now we don't have to color it manually anymore. Can you put your highlighter on your table inside the drawer and don't take it out anymore? Make sure this is highlighted automatically for you the moment you change your what do you call this, criteria. Right? All these are your target. Now, for more information, you can always ask the question. You have my number. You can also ask a question. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of trend. I'm going to do a bit of trend. So in this particular column H, I'm just going to write a formula equals to this total divide by the grand total down here, and I lock it. I will lock my G19 because I don't want it to move. So by doing that, I get 0.072, but I'm going to make it into percentage with 2 decimal places. So I just drag this one down. There you go. And I'll put it on the left. Put it on the left. Let's make the size smaller. Okay, good. Why am I doing this? Because I want to apply a conditional formatting now. Apply conditional formatting. This time I'm going to show you data bar. So please choose a color that you like best. I'm like yellow, so I'm going to use yellow in this case. Yellow. Within seconds now, I can know the trend. You notice the go up and come down. So this bar depict like a chart, but it's not a chart. It feels like a chart, but it's not a chart. It's called data bar in here. I didn't really do anything more by just applying it only, by just applying the data bar. That's it. If you want like gradient color, go ahead. If you like red, go ahead. So if you use something like this dark blue, I suggest that you change the color of your text to white so that people can read the percentage. So if you are the type of person who likes blue, you do that. So with the percentage and the bar, this will give you clarity on which are the months. At the beginning of the quarter is usually good, but at the end of the quarter, it slowly dropped. You notice that? Except for the third quarter. Third quarter, it starts off slow, but it went up higher. So the second quarter, it starts high, went down, then it went up again. So you can see the trend of your business from January to December. So anytime when all these numbers modify and change, you can see the movement of your bar. Now, why is it June suddenly so high up here? It's because I added the 10,000 here. So let me remove that 1,000. Now you can see the trend in the better environment. So this is more 10,000 earlier, right? Okay. Now, any question? So it's Q&A time. Suraj, do I have any time for Q&A? Sorry, I went too fast. I actually tried to keep to the promised time that we have, but I warned you guys about additional time. But looks like I managed to cover it within the time given. So now it's right on the dot, 1:30 on my Malaysian time.